Chapter 17 Stars and the Solar System. One day we went to our grandparents' village during the summer break. After dinner, we went on to the roof of the house. It was a clear night. We were surprised to see a large number of bright stars in the sky. We had never seen such a beautiful scene in our city. My brother wondered why the village sky was so different from the night sky in big cities. My grandmother explained that due to bright light, smoke and dust, the sky in big cities is rarely clear. She also identified some objects seen in the night sky and told stories associated with them. Night sky watching can be a fascinating experience at a place where there are no bright lights and the atmosphere is clear. Look at the sky on a dark, clear night. You see the entire sky dotted with countless stars, some bright and some not so bright. Observe them carefully. Do all of them appear to twinkle? Do you find any star-like object which does not twinkle? The objects which do not twinkle are planets. Things like stars, planets, moons etc. which are present in the space are known as celestial objects. The science which deals with the study of the celestial objects is known as astronomy. The one who study this science is known as astronaut. The astronauts use telescope for studying the celestial objects. In ancient India, our ancestors performed methodical observations of sky. Their knowledge of astronomy was highly advanced for their time. Passage of the sun, stars, moon and planets in the sky helped them to devise calendars and almanacs. These were often used by people in their day-to-day conduct and a better understanding of climate and rainfall patterns for timely sowing and choice of crops, fixing the dates of seasons and festivals. Let us also make some observations of celestial objects and learn about them. The moon. Is there a change in the shape of the moon every day? Are there days when the shape of the moon appears to be perfectly round? Are there days when the moon cannot be seen at all even if the sky is clear? Full moon day. It is the day on which the full moon is visible. After the full moon day, the moon appears to become thinner and thinner. On the 15th day the moon is not visible. This day is known as the new moon day. The next day, only a small portion of the moon appears in the sky. This is known as the crescent moon. Then again the moon grows larger every day. On the 15th day once again we get a full view of the moon. The various shapes of the bright part of the moon as seen during a month are called phases of the moon. Figure 17.2. Phases of the moon play an important role in our social life. Almost all festivals in India are celebrated according to the phases of the moon. For example, Diwali is celebrated on the new moon day, Buddha Purnima and Guru Nanak's birthday are celebrated on full moon day, Mahashivratri is celebrated on 13th night of waning moon, Eid-ul-Fitr is observed on the day following the sighting of crescent moon. Let us try to know that why does moon have different shapes. You have learnt in chapter 16 that the moon does not have its own light, and coming from sun which is responsible for various phases whereas the sun and other stars do. We see the moon because the sunlight falling on it gets reflected towards us, figure 17.3. We, therefore, see only that part of the moon, from which the light to the sun is reflected towards us. Can you now guess the relative positions of the sun, moon and the earth on the day of the full moon? Sketch these positions in your notebook. In which part of the sky would you look for the full moon? The size of the illuminated part of the moon visible from the earth increases each day after the new moon day. After the full moon day, the sunlit part of the moon visible from the earth decreases in size every day. The moon completes one rotation on its axis as it completes one revolution around the earth. The moon's surface. The moon is a fascinating object for poets and storytellers. But when astronauts landed on the moon, they found that the moon's surface is dusty, barren and has many different sizes creatures on it. Moreover, there are many big and small mountains. Figure 17.7. Some of these are as high as the highest mountains on the earth. The moon, has no atmosphere and water. Can any life exist on the stars? Let us discuss about the stars. What other objects do you see in the night sky? There is a large number of stars in the sky. Observe carefully on a dark night and from a place away from a big city. Are all the stars equally bright? Are they of the same color? In fact, stars emit light of their own. The sun is also a star. Why does it appear so large compared to the other stars? Which appears bigger, a football placed near you, or a football placed at a distance of 100 meters? The stars are millions of times farther away than the sun. Therefore, the stars appear to us like points. In fact, the stars are present in the sky during the daytime also. However, they are not visible then because of the bright sunlight. Observe some prominent star or a group of stars in the sky for about 2 hours or more. What do you find? Do you find any change in the positions of stars in the sky? You will find that the stars appear to move from east to west. A star which rises in the east in the evening, sets in the west in the early morning. Why do stars appear to move from east to west? Let us find out. You remember that when you are in a moving train, the nearby trees and buildings appear to move in the backward direction. If the stars appear to move from east to west, could it mean that the earth rotates from west to east? There is actually a star, the pole star, which is situated in the direction of the earth's axis. It does not appear to move. Figure 17.10. Constellations. When you see at the sky for some time, you see some stars forming groups with shape like those in figure 17.11. The different known shapes that are formed by a group of stars is known as the constellation. You can easily understand some constellations in the night sky. For this, you should know what a particular constellation looks like and where to look for it in the night sky. One of the most famous constellations which you can see during summertime in the early part of the night is Ursa Major. This constellation consists of 7 stars. It looks like a big ladle or a question mark. There are 3 stars in the handle of the ladle and 4 in its bowl. It is also known as Big Dipper, the Great Bear, or the Saptarshi. In all ancient cultures, very interesting mythological stories have been associated with the various constellations. In fact, all the stars appear to revolve around the pole star. The another well-known constellation is Orion. It is visible during late evening in winter. It is one of the most magnificent constellations in the sky. It also has 7 or 8 bright stars. Fig. 17.11b. Orion is also called the Hunter. The 3 middle stars represent the belt of the Hunter. The 4 bright stars appear to be arranged in the form of a quadrilateral. There is another biggest star in the sky. It is known as Sirius. It is located close to Orion. To locate Sirius, imagine a straight line passing through the 3 middle stars of Orion. Look along this line towards the east. This line will lead you to a very bright star. It is Sirius. Cassiopeia is another prominent constellation in the northern sky. It is visible during winter in the early part of the night. It looks like a distorted letter W or M. The solar system, it consists of the sun and other celestial objects present in the space revolving around the sun. The gravitation and attraction between the sun and these objects keeps them revolving around it. The various entities like planets, meteors, comets, etc. are part of our solar system. The Earth, as you already know, also revolves around the sun. It is a member of the solar system. It is a planet. There are 8 other planets that revolve around the sun. The 8 planets in their order of distance from the sun are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Let us know about some members of the solar family. The Sun. The Sun is a star. It is the nearest star amongst all the stars present in the universe. It is continuously emitting huge amounts of heat and light. The sun is the source of almost all energy on the earth. In fact, the sun is the main source of heat and light. The planets are like stars, but they do not have light of their own. They merely reflect the sunlight that falls on them. Can you identify between planets and stars? The simplest method of identifying planets from stars is that stars twinkle, whereas planets do not. Also, the planets keep changing their positions with respect to the stars. A planet has a definite path in which it revolves around the sun. This path is called an orbit. When the time is taken by planet to complete full revolution around the sun is called period of revolution. The period of revolution increases as the distance of the planet increases from the sun. Besides revolving around the sun, a planet also rotates on its own axis like a top, figure 17.19. The time taken by a planet to complete one rotation is called its period of rotation. Some planets are known to have moons/satellites revolving around them. Any celestial body revolving around another celestial body is called its satellite. The Earth can be said to be a satellite of the sun, though generally we call it a planet of the sun. We use the term satellite for the bodies revolving around planets. Moon is a satellite of the Earth. There are many man-made satellites revolving around the Earth. These are called artificial satellites. Mercury, Buddha, the nearest planet to the Sun is Mercury. It is the smallest planet of our solar system. Because Mercury is very close to the Sun, it is very difficult to observe it, as most of the time it is hidden in the glare of the Sun. It is very difficult to observe it, it has not satellites. However, it can be observed just before sunrise or just after sunset, near the horizon. So it is visible only at places where trees or buildings do not obstruct the view of the horizon. Venus, Shukra, it is Earth's nearest planetary neighbor. Venus is the brightest planet in the night sky. Sometimes it appears in the eastern sky before sunrise. Sometimes it appears in the western sky just after sunset. Therefore it is often called a morning or an evening star, although it is not a star. Try to locate Venus in the night sky. Venus has no moon or satellite of its own. Rotation of Venus on its axis is somewhat unusual. It rotates from east to west while the Earth rotates from west to east. If you get a chance, try to observe Venus through a telescope. You will observe that Venus shows phases just like the Moon. The Earth, Prithvi, it is the only planet in the solar system on which life exists. It has one moon. Earth appears blue-green due to the reflection of light from water and landmass on its surface. Some special environmental conditions are responsible for the existence and continuation of life on the Earth. These include just the right distance from the Sun, so that it has the right temperature range, the presence of water and suitable atmosphere and a blanket of ozone. The axis of rotation of the Earth is not perpendicular to the plane of its orbit. The tilt is responsible for the change of seasons on the Earth. The Earth has only one moon. Mars, Mangal, the next planet, the first outside the orbit of the Earth is Mars. It looks somewhat and so, it is also known as the red planet. Mars has two small natural satellites. Jupiter, Brihaspati, it is the largest planet of the solar system. It rotates very rapidly on its axis. It is so large that about 1,300 Earths can be placed inside this giant planet. However, the mass of Jupiter is about 318 times that of our Earth. Jupiter has a large number of satellites. It also has faint rings around it. You can easily recognize Jupiter as it appears quite bright in the sky. If you observe it with the help of a telescope, you can also see 4 of its large moons. Saturn, Shani, beyond Jupiter is Saturn. It is yellowish in colored planet. There are beautiful rings around this planet, which are not observed in any other planet. These rings are not visible with the naked eye. You can observe them with a small telescope. Saturn also has a large number of satellites. One interesting thing about Saturn is that it is the least dense among all the planets. Its density is less than that of water. Uranus and Neptune are the two outermost planets of the solar system. They can be seen only with the help of large telescopes. Like Venus, Uranus also rotates from east to west. The most remarkable feature of Uranus is that it has highly tilted rotational axis, figure 17.24. As a result, in its orbital motion it appears to roll on its side. The first four planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, are much nearer the Sun than the other four planets. They are called the inner planets. The inner planets have very few moons. The planets outside the orbit of Mars, namely Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, are much farther off than the inner planets. They are called the outer planets. They have a ring system around them. The outer planets have some other members of the solar system. Like other planets, there are certain celestial bodies that are found in the solar system. These bodies revolve round the Sun. Let us know about some of them. Asteroids. Asteroids are small rock-like objects that are found orbiting the Sun. They are generally found between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. This region is also called the asteroid belt. Asteroids can only be seen through large telescopes. Comets. Comets are big pieces of ice and rock that also revolve around the Sun in elliptical-shaped orbits. However, their period of revolution round the Sun is usually very long. A comet appears generally as a bright head with a long tail. The length of the tail grows in size as it approaches the Sun. The tail of a comet is always directed away from the Sun. Many comets are known to appear periodically. One such comet is Halley's Comet, which appears after nearly every 76 years. It was last seen in 1986. Can you tell when Halley's Comet will be visible again? Meteors and meteors. The asteroids in the space sometimes collide with each other and form meteoroids. Hence the small price of an asteroid can be called as meteoroids. At night, when the sky is clear and the moon is not there, you may sometimes see bright streaks of light in the sky, figure 17.27. These are commonly known as shooting stars, although they are not stars. They are called meteors. A meteor is usually a small object that occasionally enters the Earth's atmosphere. At that time it has a very high speed. The friction due to the atmosphere heats it up. It glows and evaporates quickly. That is why the bright streak lasts for a very short time. Some meteors are large and so they can reach the Earth before they evaporate completely. The body that reaches the Earth is called a meteorite. Meteorites help scientists in investigating the nature of the material from which the solar system was formed. Artificial satellites. These are the man-made satellites that are sent out into space to revolve around the Earth. You must have heard that there are a number of artificial satellites which are orbiting the Earth. You might wonder how artificial satellites are different from natural satellites. They are launched from the Earth. They revolve around the Earth much closer than Earth's natural satellite, the Moon. India has built and launched several artificial satellites. Aryabhatta was the first Indian satellite. Some other Indian satellites are INSAT, IRS, Kalpana 1, EduSat, etc. Figure 17.28. Artificial satellites have many practical applications. They are used for forecasting weather, transmitting television and radio signals. They are also used for telecommunicating remote